Hey everybody, so I have been asked for quite a few years by a lot of people to try to do a makeup video, and I figured now that I'm sitting home I might as well try. I am going to try to do kind of a stage makeup look, not like a light stage makeup look, not a full stage, not the full eyes and all that, but most of it, more the skin, because when I'm home my foundation and stuff tends to be really light, basically no foundation. I'll maybe do a video on that in the next week or so, but I'm gonna start right now with my absolute favorite, Sugar Advanced Therapy Dream by Fresh. And just because I need a little chapstick, my lips are so dry. And then the very most important thing for doing, getting good makeup is skincare. Definitely the most important thing. So let me put my hair back because my bangs always have a tendency to get in the way. And start Kate Somerville Wrinkle Warrior. It's just good. And I've loved using it. I kind of change things up every so often, but this is what I've been into using right now. It just makes your skin feel so hydrated and wonderful. Then I try to let that dry for a second because I want it to really soak in. And then I use, this is my favorite thing in the entire world. It's like my biggest splurge when it comes to skincare. It's not super cheap, but it smells like heaven, and I've just found that it works incredible. Been using it on and off. I sometimes don't use it all the time, but when I can, I've been using it on and off for probably like 10 years or more. And it's called Deep Tissue Repair, but I think they just changed the name to Peptide K8 something, but it's Kate Somerville as well, because all my stuff is Kate Somerville because I love her, all her stuff. And some of you probably know I actually worked with her father-in-law, David Somerville. And so he introduced me to all her stuff. I was having horrible acne and breaking out all the time from doing stage makeup constantly. And he said his daughter-in-law had this new skincare line that she just came out with and to check it out. So he got me like a sampler set, and I have never stopped using it ever since then. And she is the sweetest and most wonderful person. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and start with eyes, because I usually like to start with eyes, just because that way. Sorry, got a phone call, so had to restart the recording. So when I usually like to start with eyes because a lot of times when I am doing the eyes, I'll get a lot of like the drippage, you know, falling from the powder. So I like to start there. And where is my MAC Makeup Painterly? I just use it as a base because I've always had really bad creases in my makeup after a little while, and it drives me absolutely batty, and I found this makes a big difference. There's a couple other things I've tried through the years. There's one other I really liked that I was using for a while, but one time I went to the store and they were sold out of it, and so I've just been back using this, which I do love. But the other thing I think was, yeah, this, the MAC Prep and Prime 24-hour Extend Eye Base is like incredible. But I mean, I'm home, I don't really need makeup on for 24 hours. All right, so let's find one of my brushes. Just gonna take a big brush and use a lighter base color just to get a little bit of powder on there, because I don't love starting with your eyes being like really sticky, because it just, anything you put on there gets really hard to spread and work with. So I just like to add a little base layer. And then for color for today, let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with that guy. So I need, sorry, all my brushes are kind of everywhere because I'm home, which means I have extra brushes and everything's kind of scattered because I usually have like my home stuff and my travel stuff. But here we are. So I got one of the, like, I do a make your own palette at MAC, and so all of these are MAC colors. And I'm using this, it's like a maroon brick type color. And I'm always hesitant using dark colors because it's can be really hard to work with and hard to maneuver, so I like to really like slowly layer when at all possible. But I really just, for right now, I just want to get like kind of in the corner and a little in that crease. Then move it forward a little. And then blend it a little bit outwards. So just have like basic, not too dark. And over here. Just the same process over again. I find it's always, the hardest part is making both sides look the same, like match color-wise. So it might take a couple tries to get it to seem the same, but just reasonably close is good, because I'm gonna put something on top of it that's gonna make it a little more foolproof for you. So if you know, weren't perfect, it's okay. This is gonna end up being more like a layer kind of than an actual color that you're gonna see. So I'm gonna go with, right. I was thinking tan or copper. These are my two of my favorite pigments from MAC, and I think maybe I'll go with tan. It's a little lighter. The copper is gorgeous, but it's a lot of color, so this will be a little more mellow. And I'm gonna really start in the middle, or in the crease, not the crease, right here. My head is not working great today. And then just spread it out. So get a little sparkle, and a little goes a long way with these pigments. You don't need much. But now it just has like kind of an overall shiny glow to it, which is what I was going for. And then same thing over here. And this tan color and the copper color actually in the pigments are also both really great to just put on their own without anything underneath it, because they just really shine and have their own thing going. And I love the look of them, and they give you like a lot of dimension even without having another layer underneath it. And so for those that want, like at this point you could go in with more of the dark maroon color and darken it up here and there if you want to add a little more. But for me, I mean, we're on quarantine, I'm home, I don't really need dark eyes. And I'm going to use my pencil or my brush like this, angled, and oh, apparently I used black last time, which is not ideal. Going to use, so I'm going to put it with the maroon and then go under the eye and just kind of do a little line. And I don't always bring it all the way over, but about halfway or a little more, depending on my mood and what overall vibe I'm going for. Since I've been home, I've done like really nothing under my eyes, but since I'm making a video, might as well. So a little bit more over here. Okay, and then I have like, it's probably a bad habit, but I tend to use my hand to like wipe off whatever's on my brush, because I'm gonna use the same brush, use that tan pigment again. But this time I'm gonna start over here and then move outwards. And just kind of give it a little bit of a shiny layer over everything, because I want it to more just look smoky, not like a defined line. And just a tad more over here. That seems pretty close to even, so I'll take it. And then we are going to move over to the face. Now, I already did my skincare stuff, but I always use a Supergoop. I either use this one or I have it in my drawer here. I have my other one that I use a lot. So either Unseen sunscreen or the Smooth and Poreless 100% mineral matte sunscreen. And I'm gonna use that today because I like it a lot. They have, it has a bit of a like skin tone to it, but like it really doesn't matter what skin tone you are. It works with everything. It just blends in. And I like how it kind of gives you a foundation, like a tinted moisturizer type thing, but the Unseen sunscreen is like just as good and one of my favorites too. Because it also like kind of hides your pores and stuff, and who doesn't want all your pores hidden? I know I always do. That's my goal. And now when I'm home, I really don't wear foundation, so we are gonna see if my foundation skills are still with me while I try this. Let's see, we'll go with this one today. I always have a couple foundations. One of my favorites always is the Next to Nothing from MAC, because it really is like next to nothing and it makes just like a good small amount of base layer, and the colors are basic as like light, extra light, medium, dark, that kind of thing. But for today, let's give this a shot. This is Water Weight, which is also good, also one of my favorites. It's a little bit more coverage and it comes out in like a dropper, so I'm gonna do this approach today. Okay, now Beauty Blender, that is a little damp, that's important. And just gonna go in and do this. Kind of blend it all in. And I'm not much for like a ton of foundation, so I usually start light, and then as I go, I can always add more if I want to, but it's more annoying to take away. So figure I start light. And I think we'll do a little bit more, especially around my eyes, even though we will put some concealer on, but my nose just tends to always be a little pinker too, and you can, I don't know if you can see or not, but have a nice little dog scratch right there too, because dog mom. And that's just what's gonna happen when you're home a lot. Eventually, someone's gonna catch you. Okay. And now I am probably not gonna do this the right way, but for some reason, my neck is always super white, and my face just has a tendency to be a little more dark, or maybe more of a pink tone to it. So I'm going to put a little bit of foundation there just to even all that out, especially like when I'm going on stage and stuff. I don't want my face to look a completely different tone than the rest of me. So do just a little of that, and we'll come back and do a little extra to that in a minute. And go back to my palette. I have some concealers here. I have 2 color options because it comes in handy, you know, throughout the year. Your coloring might change. Just go in. I know in summer, my makeup, my foundation, my everything like changes dramatically, especially depending how much I'm outside and all that. And I always like to kind of like get in here too, so I know that's not something everybody does, but it's just something I particularly like because I don't like it looking dark in there. And I do like sometimes putting a little sparkly eyeshadow in there, but I didn't do that today really. And then I also, aside from like obviously with concealer, get under your eyes, but also I try my best to also get some of the other areas, like always right around my nose, under kind of gets a little pinkish. Have some sunspots that are starting to go away finally. I've been working on them, but still have them, so I try to get like the little more red areas and just add a touch of the concealer. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't, but that is what it is. And so then I'm gonna move to, actually, it's this brush over here, and I have another palette. And this one has more of my, like, I have some powder foundations, blushes, bronzers, and a couple other little eye colors. I'm gonna start with some of this, the bronzer, just like go right in here. Layer a little to give you a little bit of that definition. Look like, you know, your cheekbones are awesome, which is great. So try for that. And I also like to go up here a little bit, just gives you a little more definition as well. So already it looks like I have cheekbones finally, which is really nice. Love it when that happens. And then again, this is probably not what most people do, but that's okay. Use the same foundation, or the same bronzer, and I put some on my neck because my neck just needs to be a little darker. Unfortunately, my neck is just always crazy. My neck, chest, and for some reason, I don't know why my neck just does not want to ever get any color, no matter how long I'm in the sun, or even if I use self tanner, it just doesn't tan. So then I'm gonna use big puffy brush and just kind of blend. Got a little, there you go. Okay, so that's a little better. Now, I am very scared of blush. I always have been. I love blush, but I'm always a little hesitant using it. So I try to go slow and minimally, and I also like a lot of the like shinier ones because they tend to go on a little gentler where you can really layer it. And that's what I like to do because otherwise it just kind of scares me. But I'd kind of just do like a circle around here, and then I like to bring it back to my, along with my cheekbones. That's what I've always done, and it just kind of works for me. And I think anytime with any makeup, I mean, there's not ever a one size fits all. Every face is different, and everybody's comfort level is different. So like what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So I think it's really just playing, and it can be really fun to play with, and just keep trying things until you say, oh, like that, I like that. And I'm also going to add a little bit of the blush on my neck just to give it more of a pinky tone, because like I said, I feel like my face has more of a pinky tone than my neck and chest do. And now we're gonna take this, gonna blend it in. There we go. And sometimes, because I get really scared of blush, I like to just go back over like this just a little bit, just to, so there's not like a really strong line from like where the blush started. And then we are going to move on to, I think we're ready for eyebrows, which is great. I have a couple different things I use for eyebrows. I'll show you one today, and then I'll show you the other one I use, because I use a lot of MAC for stage and like more strong makeup, and then more like everyday light makeup I use a different brand. So this is my MAC thing that I like to use for my brows, and this is in Tapered Brow and Shade Brow Tint. So it's like this little brush, little paintbrush, and I just go in and I try to fill in and just add some shadow to where hair would be or should be, because I was definitely a product of the 90s and we did a lot of tweezing, and my brows have not really wanted to come back from that, but we're working on it and it's a process. But just try to get a little bit. And just having a bit of the this color underneath, and this is a really light color. I have one that's a shade darker, and I use both depending on what mood I'm in, how I want my brows to look, what the rest of my look kind of is doing. That, you know, can kind of change what color, if I want like the lighter or darker on my brows. And it's trial and error with brows, because, man, they can be so annoying to get perfect. But it's really nice when they do look good. Just push that in a little bit. All right, now, always with the gel, and this was a clear gel at one point. You can tell I only use it on my eyebrows because it is the exact color of my eyebrow stuff, and it's almost out. It's about time I get more. It's just like the cheapy clear gel you can get at any drugstore, and just try to make my brows look a little bigger and more like, you know, they should, had I not damaged them so much. So that makes me feel slightly better. And then we go to, where is it? My eyelashes. And eyelashes, always like to curl. Right, and I use a lot of different mascaras at different times, but this has been my favorite lately. It's Roller Lash by Benefit, and there's a MAC one that I love too, but for some reason this one has just stolen my heart lately, so I've been sticking with it. And I always like to get a little bit on the under lashes, because I like that personally. And then go over here, do the other eye. You might notice at times, and because I notice this all the time, where my mascara is going on perfect, and then other times where I have like kind of gaps in my eyelashes or something. That's just the growth cycle. It happens. So sometimes, you know, it's not gonna look as good as others, and that's okay. That's really normal. And if you have the fake lashes, extensions or something, that's great. It's not gonna, you're always gonna look nice, but I don't. I just haven't given into that. I used to occasionally do fake glue-on ones on stage, but I keep that to a minimum anymore. And I like to kind of go over it and do one more coat once it dries just a little bit. Give me a little more dimension, because I'm a mascara nut. Like, I'm totally okay if I don't do any makeup as long as I have mascara on. That makes me feel better about my day. So I like me some mascara. Now, lips is about it. Now for stage, and well, a lot of times this is my favorite. You can tell it is like seen a lot better days. It's been in my purse for a long time. It's a MAC mascara. I think it's Mahogany. I need to get a new one. It's about that time, obviously, but I still have quite a bit to go. And just gonna line and I know lining lip is like so tedious and such a pain, and it's so easy to screw up. Sorry, I got a phone call again. Next time I do this, I will like put it in airplane mode or something. But, so I try to line, and I try not to get crazy, but I do like going outside of my lip line just a little. Because I feel like my lips used to be bigger and fuller, so I think I'm just trying to recreate that. But just take your time, and if you are concerned or have trouble with doing like using a lip liner and stuff, and it's always problematic, a good tip is putting on chapstick or some kind of moisturizer beforehand, because it makes it move really smooth, and the liner might not stay as long, but it makes it move really smooth, and you can really fix it easily because you just like can do that and it moves. So I recommend that, and that way it now I just touch it with the finger I already was with, and that makes it just a little more foolproof. And also, once you get good at it, after you've done that for a while, then you know you might be able to try doing it without the chapstick, and then it would stay longer and all that. But in the meantime, that's a good step. And I'm always for like the liner, I always kind of like to do like an ombre look like this, with darker on the outside, lighter on the inside. That's just always what I've been into. And now for lipstick, I think I have so many options now because I'm home and there's a ton of things, but I think I'm gonna go with this today. This is Bitten Babe. It's by MAC, and it's actually a lip stain / lip gloss. And I know it looks really pink, but it actually, I wear this on stage a lot over this liner, and I like the combo. There we go. Now that, I think, is it. Every so often I will use like this type of thing. It's a like a translucent powder, and just like at the ends, I usually would do this before my lip gloss and stuff, but just because mostly in the T-zone, because I do get oily and stuff, which is not a huge problem when I'm home because I'm not going out and doing much, but you know, for stage and all that, it helps. So that gives me a little more of a matte look, which sometimes I like. Sometimes I like the kind of fresh makeup, glossy look, but just depends what I'm into. And so yeah, that is the final product on the makeup now, just to alter the hair a little bit and hopefully get rid of that, whatever's happening there from the headband. But yeah, so that's the basic of some easy stage makeup to do, or just night out makeup, or whatever you're into, I guess. But yeah, maybe I'll try doing this again another day with some of my other makeup that I use for more everyday basic. But I hope you guys enjoy and have a great day.